Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used a friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections ground me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used a friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections ground me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used a friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections ground me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive.
Greetings, welcome to Golden Sessions with doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM radio. I'm doc.PEACE, Doctor of Pharmacy, Transformational Rhythmic Speaker, and Empowerment Guru. Golden Sessions is a time for us to connect and reset with doses of inspiration to empower our confidence and to foster global unity. Featuring golden starlings from all over the world who are shining their light so bright to ignite our light and remind us all that together we thrive. Today we have an incredible guest here with us, Geminelle Rollins. Geminelle is a singer. She's also a songwriter, an incredible songwriter and singer. She's a producer, a healer, and a teacher based here in San Diego. Welcome, Geminelle.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so very welcome. I had the pleasure of connecting with you about a little over a year ago at a Daybreaker event where I heard your incredible mantra loops. And since then, I have been playing your loops over and over again for the past year.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, will you share with us today what these mantra loops are and how you developed this incredible tool to speak to the soul and uplift us with affirmations?
Yeah, absolutely. So back in 2018, I was kind of going through a rough time. I was living in New York, and I realized that I had a lot of negative self speech. And so
Mm.
I found myself constantly kind of just putting myself down or just positioning myself in these spaces that were, they just weren't honest. They weren't 100% honest about who I was in the present. It was just mostly this conditioning that I had. And I had just started learning about affirmations, and the one affirmation that kind of stood out the most to me was, I joyfully submit to the will of my calling. And I started
Ooh.
to say that affirmation, and I had experienced so much resistance to it. Like, I was like, I don't know. I feel like I'm submitting to my calling, but like, where's the joy, you know? And so I kind of was going on this journey of working through forgiving myself for, some past experiences, and just working through just changing the internal dialogue that I had. And I went to a sound healing, like a sound bath. And I got there a little early, and the woman that was leading the sound bath, she said, set an intention for what you want to gain from this sound healing. And so the intention that I set was to be a voice that the people needed to hear. Like, I wanted my music to be a reflection of what society needed and what the communities I was a part of needed. And I left that sound healing feeling just so like I experienced a lot of dissonance at first, and then it turned into like this deep resonance and peace and like relax.
Mm.
And when I left, I felt very clear. And probably like the next day, I was in the car. I was kind of by myself, and I was making some beats on the dashboard of the car. It's like having a quiet ride, and I started singing, uh, my success is inevitable.
Yes.
My success is inevitable. And after I said that, I was like, wow, what if I just made mantras on a loop? Like, what if I put out these affirmations like on a loop? And I already was creating music using a loop pedal. That's like a deep part of my production style is vocal layering and live production. And so I was creating these loops. And as I was creating these loops, these different mantras started to come to me. And it was just things that I needed at the time. Like they were just affirmations that I needed to hear and affirmations that I needed to start incorporating so that I can change that negative self speech into something that was more uplifting and more empowering. And through that, I started sharing them just on Instagram, just as like a way to, have some engagement with my social media content. And I remember the day I posted the affirmation, I forgive myself and I release all the things that don't serve me now. It went like a little mini viral, and
Mm.
people were sharing it and people were messaging me like, where can I hear this? I need this. I want to listen to this every day. And that's when I realized that I was creating something that the people needed. And that intention that I had set was now manifesting in real life. And so I decided that I was going to record mantra loops as a project. And I got in the studio and there were days when I couldn't sing those mantras because I didn't believe them all the way yet, or I was being tested by one because I would say something like, the joy is in the work. And then all of a sudden I was booked for days out in advance, which was wonderful. But at the same time, I was overwhelmed by it. And so I was like, okay, there's something happening here. Every time I speak one of these affirmations, there is a test to see if I can really breathe that energy into life authentically and not just say the words, but actually feel them and mean them and be able to internalize them. And so I tell people this all the time, but Mantra Loops was really just a big piece of my healing journey because it allowed me to talk to myself with self love, which was a new experience for me because I had been, someone who self shamed a lot, and so Mantra Loops, it really challenged me and even still challenges me sometimes. Like, I'll say something like I'm tired and someone will come up to me and they'll start singing my energy is infinite.
My
And
energy
sing my
is
yes.
infinite. My energy
Yes.
is infinite. My energy is infinite.
Yes.
Jiminelle, your mantra loops are incredible. You
Thank
know,
you.
it takes me back to when I was on a hike with my little sibling, and we started singing your loops on this hike
Oh,
because we
that's
love
beautiful.
them so much. And I'm sure in that same way that others can relate to how powerful your affirmations are. In fact, research shows that the most powerful affirmations are those which align with your core values and your future goals. So you created affirmations that align with your core values and your
Yes.
future goals.
Yes.
And for a lot of people who listen to those mantra loops, they have similar core values and future goals as you, so that's why they resonate.
Yeah,
And
I love that.
whew, and I love how you turn your your fears, your anxiety, all that negativity that you had around you, you turned it around and you created joy, you created beauty, you created light. And how have you been how have you let me start this over again. Let me start this question over again. How have you been gold, a genuine, original, loving dreamer? Because I honestly do believe that you are gold, Geminel. How have you been gold, really tapping into who you are, you're shining your light through your mantra loops? How has this helped you get through this past year?
Mm. It's given me a space of rest, honestly. As I think for so long as a musician and an artist, you're consistently like on this hustle. You're constantly pushing to, you know, get the best of another opportunity or get yourself out there or, try to build your following. And
Yeah.
I think that it this was like Mantra Loops was very much like me fully following my intuition, through pushing through the fear, pushing through the doubt, and saying, like, I'm going to follow this because God put this on my spirit and I'm going to follow through with that. And what it gave me was a space of rest. I was able to relax because, Mantra Loops is my most successful project yet. I've been putting out music since 2016. And, I wasn't gaining much traction with any of the music that I'd put out. And when I put out Mantra Loops, like, within the first couple of months, 100,000 streams, 200,000 streams. And now we're getting close to a million now.
Woo!
So it's been pretty exciting.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that this, of all things, is the most successful project that you've done since 2016?
I think that there's divine alignment in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I put out this project just at the end of 2019. And I put it out with so much intention. I released it on winter solstice. I wanted it to be a seed that I planted for 2020. And then 2020 happened, the pandemic happened, and everyone needed something to uplift them.
Mm.
And so I do feel like a lot of it was divine alignment. And I think the other part of it is like, this is like one of the truest expressions that I've ever given because it was my healing journey. And it was me in full acceptance of the fact that, like, I wasn't writing, a whole bunch of bars and like trying to make everything rhyme. Like, I was just speaking to my spirit. And I think that because I sang and gave it my full authenticity, the world was
Mm.
like, yes, I need that same authenticity in my life, and I need that
Ooh.
same intentionality in my life. And I made it short intentionally too, because I wanted people who don't necessarily meditate or do yoga or like operate in the wellness space to feel comfortable exploring what wellness looks like.
Ooh.
And so I put a lot of intention into this project, and I think that the response to that was just, it was the success of it. And it
Ooh.
ends by me saying my success is inevitable. That was the last song on the track. And I do think that our words are super powerful. So the words that we put out, the things that we say, they do have the power to manifest in positive ways. And so me saying my success is inevitable and then putting out this project and leaving it, like, very literally not doing much with it, but just sharing it with people, and seeing it just gain all this traction has been incredibly powerful. And
Ooh. I
I know
love
it's because
that.
I followed through.
You followed through.
Mhm.
So you said some incredible things right there. I want to hone in on those three things that you said that your this project that was successful, immensely successful. And those three things that you mentioned was divine alignment,
Mhm.
intention, and
Mhm.
authenticity.
Mhm.
Divine alignment, intention, and authenticity. I think that it's so important to recognize that we each have a soul purpose,
Yes.
and by being divinely aligned with that soul purpose, that is what really allows us to reach that purpose that we were divinely brought here to achieve. And
Absolutely.
so you were divinely aligned with that soul purpose, with your soul purpose, and you went into that with intention.
Mhm.
It wasn't like, oh, like I'll just go see what happens here. No, you were motivated, you were determined, you had intention.
Yes.
And then you brought your authentic self. You weren't pretending to be somebody else. You were being you. You're
Mhm.
Geminelle. You're being gold. Oh, I love that. So, for those of you who are listening, for those who are here with us, Geminelle, can you share with us how we can go about aligning with our soul purpose with intention?
Hmm. Ooh, that's a good question. And it's not, I don't think that's an easy question to answer. Because I think that there are a lot of different ways that you can find alignment. But I would say that the first one that worked for me was getting still, getting still, and becoming more present, present with how I was feeling, present with the opportunities that are in front of me, releasing the expectation of the future or what I think things are supposed to look like, and just sitting still and allowing intuition to guide you.
Yes.
Yeah, that, that's such like a big topic, but
It is, but you made it sound so simple. Be still. Don't go, there's not like a list of 100 things you need to go do.
no, it's just sitting still. Yeah, breathing helps too. Breathing helps you to find
I
your
could do
alignment,
that. I could
you
do
know?
that.
Yeah.
Wow, Jaminel, this has been absolutely incredible. And you know, when we come back from, we have to take a quick break, but when we come back, I really want to get into how you became so gold.
Mm,
Where did this come from? Where did this incredible golden light of a starling come from? How did you develop into this being who you're aligned with your soul purpose, you're getting it going with intention, and you're showing up with authenticity?
yes.
So, you're listening to Golden Sessions with Doc Peace on Candace J 89.1 FM radio. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. So, stay tuned.
Awesome.
Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections ground me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive.
And we're back. You're listening to Golden Sessions with Doc Peace on Candace J 89.1 FM radio. I'm Doc Peace, and we are here with our incredible guest, Mrs. Geminel Rowlands. Let's get back into it. So, we were just talking about how gold you are, Mrs. Geminel, how you're at a genuine, original, loving dreamer. You're aligned with your soul purpose. You're getting it going. Were you always like this? How was little Geminel when she was growing up? How did you become so gold?
Yeah. I would say definitely like my childhood. I had a really great childhood. I have very loving, very supportive parents. And they've always encouraged me to go after whatever I was seeking at the time. So when I was a kid, I was track and field, and then I became interested in music, and then I fell out of interest with music. And, there was never a time where I felt like I couldn't come to them with like a dream. And I always felt like they encouraged me to pursue it. And not just encourage me, but like, okay, you want to do this? Well, we're gonna get you singing lessons. We're gonna get you a vocal coach. We're gonna, you know, what kind of do you need dance lessons? Like, what do you need to become this person? And so I've always had like a ton of support. I think that I didn't always know what alignment looked like. And I also didn't always know what authenticity looked like. I think that for a big piece of my life, the representation that I had of adulthood was to be, to present yourself as fine. You're always fine. Everything's always good. And so I don't think that I really truly learned what authenticity was until I started experiencing, some of the roadblocks in life. And trying to persist and push past and say like, oh, I'm good, I'm great, I'm doing wonderful, when that just wasn't the honest truth. And somewhere along the line, like in college and grad school, I think I started to fall off track, and I was kind of just in discovery mode and figuring out who I am and what I am, and making a ton of mistakes and then beating myself up for those mistakes. And um, I really just started to realize that a piece of why I was unable to feel fulfilled was because I wasn't living authentically. And because I wasn't living authentically, I was out of alignment. It's
Yeah.
because I really think that those two things go hand in hand, like authenticity and alignment. Because a lot of times when we step out of alignment, it's because we're trying to be something that we're not, rather than having full acceptance of who we are. And so, yeah, I would say like, that was where I fell off track. And I moved to New York, and I was dating my partner, who is now my husband. And he's known me since I was 12 years old, and he kind of just was reminding me of who I am, and also curious about how I had fallen so far off of who I was. And I think having someone to be an accountability partner and a guiding compass, and to do it with such grace and acceptance of me, really allowed me to explore who I am in the most authentic space. Like when I let down my walls and really just be, who I am and not what I think people want me to be. And that's how I got back on track for
Ooh,
sure.
wow. What an incredible story. So going back to the acronym GOLD, which is stands for genuine, original, loving, dreamer. It sounds like you've been gold all your life.
Trying to be.
So a lot of us forget who we are and what we're supposed to be. We aren't allowed to dream.
Mhm.
But it sounds like you were given the gift of encouragement to dream all through your life. And what a blessing. What a blessing that is. So, how do you feel that shining your light has impacted what's going on in the world right now?
Ooh. Um, it's funny because, like I said, like I created mantra loops for me,
Yeah.
and I had to kind of release the expectation that it would do anything for anyone. I was just like, I'm just, I'm good. I'm this is a project for my soul. And what I see in people, or the testimonies that I've received from people, have just been so powerful. I just got a testimony from a woman, maybe like a couple weeks ago, and she was telling me that she was having difficulty in labor with her child, and her midwife put on mantra loops, and she said it transformed from this painful, scary experience to the most beautiful, peaceful transition she's ever had. And
Oh my
hearing that from
gosh.
someone was just like, I felt it. I felt it in
Woo.
my heart, my spirit. But I think what mantra loops is doing, and what like the light that is shining through mantra loops is doing, is it's creating a space for people to love themselves. It's creating a space for people to say, I have a little bit of control over how I perceive my day and how I move into this next phase of life. And I think one of the greatest ones for me is I invite ease and joy, because I use that mantra for like everything. Like if I'm feeling anxious about something, I'm like, okay, I invite ease and joy into this, and I don't necessarily have to be singing it, but I know that it's a tool that I have because of mantra loops. I know that these words work. And I know that they create a sense of calm, like all of that with a good